On the R80RT, got to synchronize the carburetors. Had to take one of them completely off to get the needle jet back in there because it was jammed in there the wrong way. Let it warm up for a couple minutes. Anyway, they're off. It basically won't idle now because the left carb is off a little bit, which is just for me putting it back on there and not adjusting the throttle cable, not counting where I had it at, which I knew I was going to have to resync them anyway. All right, let me go get my gauges and I'll hook those up and see how far off it is. I'm going to try and get this left one a little closer by hand before I hook the gauges up to it, so I can at least get it to idle. I'm just going to do that by feeling it. It's the one that's closest to the cylinder here. I'm just going to crack the lock nut on it so I can turn the ferrule. Pull the vacuum caps off of the bottoms of the carbs here. These particular carbs just have a vacuum cap on it, which is, I don't know if you can see it, it's right up under here, right where my finger is. I'm guessing you can see it. I can kind of sort of see it right there. I can feel it. So use a pair of needle nose pliers to pull that thing off of there. Now we're going to hook up one of our vacuum lines to it. It's the one that's right next to the air fuel screw. Down here and do the other one, and then we'll see what we got. I know we're going to have to turn the idle way back down. I had it idling kind of high when I was adjusting it by hand there, but that's okay. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. It'll run like crap because it's got a damn intake leak. We got, we need to even them up some here. They're still off a little bit as far as how much vacuum they're pulling. You want them pretty much even, or not pretty much, you want them as even as you can get them between the two cylinders. You want your dampers on this type of gauge, just so the needle's moving a little bit. You don't want them completely shut off. If you notice, if you take the damper out, like on this one, you go out too far, the needle starts going wonky. Just so where the needle's just moving. So you see we're off quite a bit really. I really don't like using these vacuum gauges. I prefer to use mercury sticks, but I'll let somebody use my mercury sticks and got them back and they didn't have any mercury in them. Meaning they either laid them down, or typically with a mercury stick, if you gag the throttle a bunch of times, it'll suck the mercury down through the intake ports, right through the motor. It's not good. That guy, that's probably what happened. He likes to sit there and wipe the throttle up and down. So don't lend out your mercury sticks because you can't get replacement mercury easily anymore since it's a controlled substance. So let's even these things up as even as we can get them. And I have to drop the idle down a couple of hundred RPMs too. Yeah, that's pretty damn close right there. Let's see if you can see that or not. Yeah, you should be able to see that better. Sounds a hell of a lot better anyway. All right, let me go ahead and knock the idle down to where it should be about 700, 750 right in there. And I'll lock the cables down and we should be good. So I'm going to charge the battery on it. It'd be a good time to go ahead and tighten the battery cables. If you guys aren't used to doing that, you should get used to doing it on a regular basis. Pretty much just as a precaution, because they do come loose and you don't want to burn the battery post off or fry your damn electrical system. Battery should be charged up enough now. It's been about an hour. I'll probably put it back on here tonight on a lower amperage just to make sure, but that should be good for now. Then we'll finish setting the idle on it and be good to go. Make sure we're still on where we need to be. And when you're tightening these down, you don't really need to crank on them really hard. Just kind of set the nut there and then just give it a little twist and turn. All right, so I got it idling. It's a little high right now, but I got to balance the carbs between each other for idle wise. So if you look at the gauges here, at idle, you want basically both of them to be the same, just like you're syncing them. Well, you are syncing. You're syncing it side to side, but you have to do it at idle too. So you're going to let one off, and you'll watch the needle change, and we'll do the other one. All right, it's still idling a little high. Let me bring it down some more. Yeah, it's pretty good right there. I'm going to definitely need a little less fuel. Didn't move much, moved about a quarter turn on the right carb, and it took about an eighth of a turn on the left one. Yeah, that's much better. A little bit better response there. Okay. So when you're doing an idle drop like that, you're basically going to screw it in. Well, you're going to start off, just say 1.5 turns. So you're going to screw it in until it's slightly seated. But on this, I already knew what they were set at when I did them earlier last year. But they tended up to be a little bit rich. So basically, you're going to screw it in till the idle changes, till the idle gets a good steadier idle. Stop there and do the other carb. And you heard it change when I was turning the air fuel screws, how it smoothed out. So screw it in until it starts to change, and then back it out just a hair is usually fine. If you start getting a decel pop or a little pop on it, you'll need to even spit back through the carb. You'll need to take it out a little bit. That's just a general rule of thumb is doing an idle drop, which would be close. And you see how it felt there, going back and just changing the air fuel screws a little bit, how it smoothed out. It was just getting a little bit too much fuel down on the pilot jet on the air fuel screw. So turn those out, and that should be good. I'm gonna let the battery finish charging up, and then I'm gonna take it out for a ride here in a little bit. See how them 150 main jets did in there. It had 135s on it. I drilled the other ones out, basically 140s, and was in a hurry, and it rode okay. It wasn't great. It was pretty damn weak with one. It was better with 140s than the 135s, and I just never got around to doing the 150s until now, because I really haven't ridden the thing all summer. I like riding when it's cooler out. And then I'll probably get on to doing servicing the front forks here. Got to put fork seals in it, and maybe steering head bearings. I haven't adjusted them yet, but it's clunking pretty good. So they're either just loose or it needs bearings, one or the other. We'll find out when I adjust it. So we'll do fork seals, new fluid, new brake pads up front, and may or may not pack the springs. Front end feels pretty weak right now. It's like all the fluid's going out of it, or they put the wrong fluid in it, because the guy had said they had just done the fork seals late last year. They didn't do something right if they just did fork seals on it, because they're both pouring fork oil out, or maybe they just changed the fork oil or something. Anyway, it's pouring oil out the fork seals, and so much so the damn pads are soaking wet, or were. I cleaned them off and got new pads to put in there. I haven't put them in yet. Already got the seals, already got the fluid, just hadn't gotten to it. So they'll be coming up here before too long. See how this thing does with the 150s in it, and we should be good.